Hi Leos, welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot. Welcome to your 2021 preview. Really quickly, I just wanted to say a gigantic thank you to my Leos out there, my viewers. By far the largest amount of videos and views that I've had. And I am so grateful. I think I've told you guys before, but I have some very significant places in my chart for Leo, and I have some very significant people in my life that are Leos, and I absolutely adore your energy the most, so it makes sense. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I am really grateful that I get to do this with you. I appreciate your loyalty. I appreciate you listening to me, and together we're gonna get through yet another year. It's been a year for Eight of Cups Tarot now that I've been on. I started last December, so kind of means a lot that we're doing a kickoff here, kind of preparing for this new year and this new energy. And it's so important this year because 2020 was so intense, right? I think everybody right now needs to hear that things are gonna get better. I say this as we're preparing right now, as I'm taping this for the eclipse. So just a reminder, if you're watching this before the actual beginning of 2021, we got a lot of intense stuff that's going to kind of happen in the next couple of weeks. It's going to get us into where we start this reading, but just know, if there's anything I can leave you with, it's to just kind of allow these eclipses to do their work. I know it's not easy. I know it's hard. And this is going to kind of be what you're going to have to do to get through 2021 in some ways. I think the fixed signs are going to have it really hard. And Leo, you certainly are going to feel the intensity of 2021, and not so, I don't want to say in not friendly ways, because ultimately these are wonderful things that are happening for you. However, I think that it's going to be a lot about you having to step out of your comfort zones in a lot of ways, Leo, and maybe have to give up, surrender a certain amount of control, and allow the universe to kind of take you to the places that are meant to come up next for you. Here's the thing. My personal take on 2021 for my Leos. If you guys could remember a few years back, 2016, 2017, we had those really incredible eclipses that came through. And I'm sure most of you with a significant placement in Leo, which is why you're here, is like, oh God, I remember that summer, I remember that year. It was quite intense for me as well. That was a really big eclipse, and they were on the axis of Leo and Aquarius. So now as we start to move into 2021, and we have Saturn and Jupiter kind of going over that area of your chart that was hit by that eclipse, which is your first and seventh house axis. It's you and your seventh house, being that of Aquarius, which is where this conjunction occurs, is what you bring to relationship with others. It's your contracts, your marriages, your commitments, and it's really just how you handle connections in your life. So there's going to be a lot about relationships in 2021. And I think it's kind of here to do a little bit more of the healing that needs to occur from that first eclipse. There's no doubt that our lives have changed drastically from 2017 until now. Now that eclipse is a 5-year eclipse, so we're not done with it. Our life is not done changing. I think those eclipses are so big that really ultimately it's going to put us on our path and our purpose for this world. But it can't happen overnight, right? We all move in cycles, slow amounts of growth, karmic lessons that we have to learn one by one until ultimately we're ready. Like, we're all kind of stuck in the student mode, right? And I kind of feel like 2020 has us all kind of scratching at the door for summer vacation. So most of you are probably saying, oh, please let 2021 just be easier. And unfortunately, for you, it's not really going to be easier. Now, it will be easier to deal with because it's not that heavy earth energy, which kind of didn't work well with Leo. Leo's very creative, it's very spontaneous, and with a Mars retrograde in your sister sign of Aries, and all of that kind of stuck energy, it may have really dimmed your light, may have made you feel like you weren't able to kind of work on your passions or your pursuits. Now, I know it, and it's, Leos are meant to kind of perform. I don't say that as like an insult, but really your energy is supposed to affect others. You oftentimes, it's why you represent the sun. You bring happiness, you exude warmth and love and courage and purpose into the world just by being you. And maybe 2021, because of the intensity, because of the sadness, because of the confusion, it kind of made you feel like now's not the time. Maybe it's not so important to be funny or be happy, or, people weren't really in the mood for what Leo truly wanted. In that way, things are going to lighten up. In that way, I think you're going to be able to be a little bit more in your element. However, when it comes to any sense of control, you may have to just kind of let things slide right now. Like I said, we have a lot of opposing energy. Now we've got Saturn and Jupiter coming together. Luckily, or not so luckily, finally Jupiter is out of this placement in Capricorn, which is, he was at his detriment. So usually Jupiter brings gifts and exuberance and optimism, but when he's in Capricorn, it was like, well, here's two options. You get to pick between the lesser of two evils. Like, really, quite clearly, if you look at how things are going collectively, if you look at the politics in America, I mean, it really does depict what Jupiter is in Capricorn. Now in Aquarius, it's a whole nother story. It becomes about science and technology and advancement. And things can happen really rapidly and quickly, and our path towards the future can start to really become clear during these transits in the next year. It is a time where you kind of have to embrace opportunities. So anywhere where you're kind of undecided, I think the first 6 months of 2021 is kind of going to work some stuff through with you. And definitely around your relationship with commitment issues, definitely within your relationships with your significant others, business partners, best friends. It doesn't always have to be romantic because it's 7th house. Oftentimes the 7th house can also represent your clients in your business, or the way that other people see you. So let's take a look at these cards. What I did was I pulled one card for the energy and then some clarifiers for each month. Now, I'm only doing the first 6 months because otherwise we would both be here for like a week. I talk way too much and there's way too much detail here. So I tried doing a video with the entire year, and I don't think you have the patience to sit through it, and I don't think I have the energy to record them. So we're going to just do the first 6 months. I do promise that a little bit closer to December, I'll go through and I'll pick another month which isn't so crazy, and I will do the rest of the year for you guys to get it all caught up. But let's just focus on the first 6 months. So the card for you representing January is the Ace of Swords in reverse. This could represent an area of your life where you're lacking clarity. Maybe you are the one who's kind of undecided. I do get almost an energy of not trusting yourself when I have this. It feels like you're almost afraid to say something or express yourself with the Ace of Swords in reverse. Now, there may be opportunities. There might be ample opportunities to kind of say the things. I think I said this the other day on one of the videos, and I saw this meme on social media, and I thought it was so brilliant. It's that idea that it only takes like 20 seconds to completely change your life, right? That 20 seconds of courage, or that 20 seconds of, I've fucking had enough. right? Sometimes it's just that moment that comes along that really changes everything. The thing is, for you, Leo, I feel like the universe has been handing you those opportunities, maybe provoking you, maybe getting you to that edge of like, oh, F it all. And yet Leo doesn't quite say it. Leo doesn't quite follow through. Now, the cards supporting this energy for January were a little confusing, and a lot came out here. You have the Seven of Cups, the Magician, the Death card, and the Three of Cups. See, I think in January, you are still super confused, Leo. I think you're super confused about, it could be a job, a business partner, or a relationship, something significant in your life. Seven of Cups, maybe you are a little bit worried that this person, I'm getting a sense that you're not connected. And maybe you are not really being honest or telling this person how you truly feel. There seems to be a little bit of an illusion on your end, and it feels a little bit self-protective. Now, when I see the Seven of Cups, it could be one of two things. The Seven of Cups and the Magician is kind of this energy of, yeah, but I want to know what else is out there. Am I really ready to settle down? Do I want to lock this in? Is this the person I want to spend the rest of my life with? Or is there something more? Maybe this is like, I don't know if I want to delete my my dating app yet, or I'm not sure if I want to commit to just one person. However, if this person is something to do with your past, there's a couple things here with the Death card and the Three of Cups. There seems to be somebody from the past that keeps creeping in, somebody that you're still thinking about. Maybe even every time you meet somebody new, there's still kind of a comparison between them and this other person. Well, yeah, they don't do this like they do, or they're, that kind of stuff, which tells me that there's probably still some emotional cords that haven't been cut. Even if you aren't talking or communicating outwardly, which might be the case with the Eight of Swords in reverse. For one, if there is communication, it's definitely not honest and it's definitely not clear. And two, there may not be any communication at all. Somebody may have cut somebody off. And there could be with the sevens involved in the Three of Cups, maybe for some of you, there was maybe a three-party situation, or maybe you were just really unsure if this person was dating somebody else, or worried that maybe they had feelings for somebody else. Some of you may be considering reconciling with somebody from your past. However, you know that in order to do so, your life has to change. There might be certain elements or certain things that you do or lifestyle. Maybe you're single and this other person has children. And you know that in order to make this like real or significant, you gotta kind of settle down. Your lifestyle has to change. And like I said, you've got Uranus kind of going through your 10th. You've got all of these life-changing things going on. And here's Leo kind of like, yeah, but I don't really want to make those changes yet. I like them. I like how that looks. I like the idea of it. Maybe in a few months. Let's just see where this goes. Okay, so I still feel like that energy is going to be coming through strong in January. Now, the antagonizing energy kind of makes me laugh because it's the Devil and the Queen of Wands. Now, maybe you're dealing with a Capricorn here, Capricornian energy. We still have Pluto kind of in your 6th house. So if you are dealing with any kind of addiction issues, any kind of toxic behaviors, of course, this is a time to address them. Of course, this is a time when they're going to kind of rear their ugly head into your life again. There might be a sense of overindulgence. It could be a sense of just spending too much money. When I see the Queen of Wands next to the Devil, it often tells me that you're going to be tempted in January. tempted towards renewing something old, tempting towards allowing something to kind of creep back in that you probably know isn't really good for you, the things that aren't really good for you, okay? And that's what this is. Now, most likely there's an element of desire behind it with the Queen of Wands, meaning that whatever's creeping back into your life is probably something of a sexual attraction or something that's going to fulfill an instant need or a gratification of some kind. It's usually something that we attribute to instant gratification. So like I said, if you're somebody who likes to soothe a bad day with some online shopping, just be really honest with yourself about where that's going, and vice versa. If you feel more and more often that you're coming home from work and maybe it was just one glass of wine, and maybe after the last several years it's become an entire bottle of wine just to get through the horror of that day, and it just means that you're going to probably have to come to some terms with what you use in order to cope with your life. You might want to find healthier ways, because those things that you're doing to cope might actually be blocking really beautiful things that are maybe trying to come into your life right now. The second month, February, we've got the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So a couple of things. Most likely somebody else made a decision or a call here. When I see the Two of Pentacles in reverse, it usually tells me that you did not make a decision, and so a decision was made for you, maybe via another person, via these eclipses, via this transit, kind of the universe stepping in and saying, okay, well, this isn't even available to you anymore. If the universe was trying to hand you a gift and for months and months you were kind of like, I don't really know, like this stuff, like I don't really know if I want that right now. Most likely if you were hesitating, something the universe was trying to give you, it gets taken away. Now the energy supporting this is actually the Two of Pentacles in the upright and the Nine of Cups. So whatever happens, whatever gets kind of taken out of your control in February actually is a source of clarity for you. Now, as well, when I see Two of Pentacles in the upright, it gets you a little bit more aligned with your second house. There's definitely an emphasis on Virgo energy here, which is also a feeling of figuring out what you really value. And I think that maybe February, once things become somewhat out of your hands, ironically, it's that perspective that starts to make things seem even more clear. Because there's a Two of Pentacles, which means that most likely there's a contraction on what your focus is. Now, Saturn and Jupiter are again working in tandem this year, just like they were last year. So you can expect energy to go through in a kind of mode of like a contraction, like having a baby. If anybody's ever had a baby or witnessed somebody having a baby, like you go through these bouts of pain. There's a contraction and there's a pushing and then a pulling, and so it's never going to be like a clean and easy get it done, okay? It's always going to be a push and a pull. And when you're looking at this big of a transit in your seventh house opposing your sun or your ascendant in some way, you have to know that throughout this year there will be a push and a pull. Good news is Jupiter doesn't spend an entire year in Aquarius because he's so excited to get into the sign of Pisces. It's kind of his second home. And in Pisces, he's going to join up with Neptune, which is going to kind of be the ultimate theme of 2022. That actually gets previewed to us towards the end of 2021. That is your 8th house. And that is, we're talking taking a commitment into an extreme amount of really beautiful commitment. So intimacy and learning to share and self-sacrifice. So trust me when I tell you, you are being prepared. You are being well prepared in 2021 for what is really coming towards you and happening for you in 2022. Please keep that in mind. I think February is going to give you a little bit of a taste of what that's going to be about for you. And I think in February, you start to really hone in on the things that you truly desire. Now, the antagonizing energy is a Four of Pentacles and the Death card in reverse. See, I feel like Leo's been kind of flirting with the idea of death and rebirth and change and that 8th house kind of stuff for a long time. And most likely there's just been an utmost amount of animosity, fear, stuff that you've been kind of holding within. We have to start rewriting all of that, okay? We're just in a different time and we've been through way too much and we know too much. We're too smart, you know, to kind of stick to those old storylines, and it's way beyond us now. So if you are still carrying disappointments from old relationships, or, you know, even like just negative feelings toward old bosses or coworkers or friends, or just feeling like you didn't get a fair shake in some way, holding on to those grudges and that negativity is kind of blocking what the universe wants to bring to you. In other words, whether you realize it or not, you're not really fully trusting and investing in other people because there's this fear that they're not going to accept you or love you for who you are. Now, they don't accept you and love you for who you are because they could feel you coming at them like at arm's length. I don't know if you've ever met somebody with like really stiff arms. It just feels like a lack of warmth. And the thing is, Leo, that's your greatest gift. So if you are holding off, if you've got these things within you that haven't fully healed, because that's what 2020 was supposed to be about, and some of you might really be holding on. If you've held on this long, then trust me, 2021 is going to solve your issues. I just don't know how friendly the energy is going to be. The universe is really going to push you to heal this stuff. You might benefit a lot if you're really working through some stuff. You might benefit with some professional help. Like it might be a really good idea to seek some form of counseling. It's a lot easier now, I think. You can kind of do it online. You don't have to show up or go to somebody's office. It takes a little bit less time out of your schedule. But it's a good investment. It's a really good investment for you. Even if you don't want to go down the traditional route of psychology, I also think just getting somebody to actually do your chart, digging into your own kind of natal chart, understanding your behavior, understanding your karma. It could even be reconnecting. Now, we do, the funny thing is Leos kind of have this T-square going on because we've got Uranus right there in the middle in your 10th house, and you're kind of pulled with Saturn and Jupiter opposing you. And so what I can tell you is once a month, I think every time that moon comes up in Leo, it's going to be a really intense time for you. So once a month, believe it or not, kind of like a period, once a month, my Leos are going to kind of go through a tumultuous cycle. And you have to understand that this is just like that contraction that's going on, helping you getting ready to birth in this new lifestyle. Don't apply a lot of pressure to yourself. As you can see, it's going to take care of itself in time. But you are gradually moving towards seeing for yourself why you need to make some changes. 8th house, when you get to this transit with Jupiter and Neptune, there's going to be an opening. And you're going to have to learn how to share and be open and to be intimate, because this really does seem like a time where you might really and truly meet like somebody who is incredible for you. And it's probably somewhat of a spiritual journey in itself. So you're being prepared for that, okay? So literally, I know some stuff might feel like an ass ache, and Leo's probably like, why am I going through all of this? Well, because you're being prepared. Now, the 3rd month, March, your energy is the Wheel of Fortune. So there's definitely some kind of a major turning point happening in March. Now, I do believe end of February, beginning of March, we're going through the first major square between Uranus and Saturn, and that's, 7th house, 10th house stuff. That's like, who do you want to be? What kind of, and oftentimes I see marriage or stuff come up in the 10th house as well, because it does have a lot to do with your identity and your legacy. It's like who you're joining forces with, who you want to have children with, who do you want to join your history with. So yeah, there's a lot of 10th house stuff here, 7th house stuff. Who are you? And who are you in regards to others in your life? What commitments are you going to make? Who are you going to bring along for the long haul? This is a card of Saturn. This is a card of long-term stuff. It's about changing your expectations. The supporting energy, again, is big. We've got the 3 of Swords clarified by the 2 of Swords. So Leo, if you hesitate making a call or decision in your life, like I said, it's going to get made for you, and then you're going to kind of have to deal with the aftermath. Now, in some ways, I think that this is Leo maybe having to break other people's hearts, maybe having to deliver some kind of news like, this isn't really going to work for me, or I don't really see a future in this. Maybe this is a job, maybe this is just a friendship, maybe this is just leaving something behind. It definitely feels as though we're getting ready to leave something behind here. Now, the other 2 cards are the 2 of Cups and the 7 of Swords. The thing is, I think there's a part of Leo that wants to leave something behind because of the fear of the heartbreak. And maybe this is kind of like, oh my God, I'm not even going to get involved with anybody because I just can't handle all the emotional stuff right now. Okay, fair enough. The universe doesn't believe you. It's not going to make this easy on you. If you're trying to run away from something or block something from coming in, I think the universe is going to kind of force you to deal with it now. I think this is like time to pull off the rose-colored glasses, time to stop ignoring the inevitable. There are things that are going to have to be dealt with. There are things that are going to need your attention in March. I think for sure March is going to feel pretty stressful. Also, there's going to be a little bit of accountability for who you are and what you contribute with. Okay, so this could be a lot of different things. First of all, who are you attracting? Because it kind of works like a mirror. What you believe in is what you attract. Who you are on the inside is pretty much what your life is going to look like on the outside. So there might be some moments in March where you kind of have to really look around and be like, wow, this is it. So if there are Leos kind of sitting in a room all by themselves, not really liking where they're at, it's because they weren't prepared to emotionally open up and accept the things that the universe has been trying to give them. If not, if you're in a beautiful relationship, if you're a Leo that is thriving and enjoying it, then it is super important right now to show your gratitude. If you are a blessed Leo that has a beautiful relationship with their family, friends, maybe you don't have like that commitment or that perfect partnership, but you have a lot of other love and other support in your life. It's really important to show gratitude for it. And I think no matter where you are in life, I think even if you have very little to show, the Wheel of Fortune is definitely indicating that even if it's nothing, even if there's very little, focus on it daily. Focus on what you are grateful for daily. It's a wonderful healing process. It puts things into a much better perspective for you. If you are in that place where you're kind of blaming others, like, well, if so-and-so didn't cheat on me, I wouldn't be here all alone. Or if such and such didn't lie, or they didn't, there's always a million reasons why other people contributed to us having less than what we expected, right? That's life. That's life. You can't get into a relationship. There's no guarantees. And yeah, we share and we give, and sometimes we lose, but it's all about what our expectations are. And the thing is, I think in March and definitely in April, you start to get called to open up in a different way. I think Leo starts to get called to give back. The protagonist energy is Seven of Cups, the World card, and the Fool. Oof. More of this confusion, and I don't know why I'm picking up on the exes back again. This is like, I don't know if these are different exes or the same exes or just the same fears, or maybe you're repeating patterns. Different people, same issue. Okay, maybe the past 5 or 6 people you've dated have had some kind of a substance abuse issue, or maybe the last several girls that you've dated have kind of had issues with having children or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but it feels like if it's not the same person, you're kind of reliving the same pattern over and over again. And the thing is, do you want to bring it to an end? Because you've been given the opportunity to close out these cycles. I think that if this is the same ex, like now is the time where you really have to either make a commitment to make it work or cut it out completely. That's what I see with the Fool and the World card here. There's really, I think the road ends in March and April. I think it's determined. It's in writing where this is going to go. If you're going back and forth, most likely it'll come to an end by either a higher commitment or getting cut off completely. Now, leading into April, you come out as a Magician. This is more of that Virgo energy, second house stuff going on, which is all about that confidence, and you need the strength in order to attract things that are healthy for you. And I think the Magician is definitely a sign that you are starting to construct your universe and your life and your reality to match you better. Okay, there's a level of mastery that comes with a Magician, and notice this Fool card here indicates to me that most likely you've broken something off completely. Hopefully it was a toxic habit or a toxic ex, and then April you kind of start to come back into your own strength, into starting to create things that you truly want and desire, and things that are reflective to you. Okay, this is kind of like a renewed hope and strength for my Leos. Supporting you is the Ten of Wands, the Child of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. Like, this is just all about desiring that healing, knowing. There's just a knowing here that something big is just around the corner, and that you've got to close some of this stuff off. Okay, you got to really let this stuff go. This Ten of Wands is burdens. It's things that don't, paying attention to things that aren't really good for you. So probably could be different for everybody, but I mean, this could be deleting those apps or deleting social media altogether. If there's something that kind of you feel at the end of the day like, oh my God, but I waste so much, like I do. I waste time. I look at Facebook, I kind of get sucked in, and all of a sudden a minute turns into 10 minutes, and I'm like, wow, where did my day go? I could have done so much more with that time. And I think the Magician makes you want to be super productive. And I think that's what April is. It becomes all about productivity. I require change. I want my life to be different. I want my reality to be different. And April comes and Leo is ready to do the work. Ten of Swords, Child of Cups. I think you know that there's stuff that needs to be handled emotionally, emotional healing. I think this is you putting yourself first. I think that you're kind of protecting yourself in some ways, allowing yourself to really take care of this healing energy, which is all what Aquarius is about. I also think there's a certain level to you that by April you're starting to get a little bit hip to these Leo moons. pay attention. You're starting to realize that every month you kind of go through this internal thing, and I think each month it kind of peels back another layer of why things are like this or why you're feeling like this. It gets to the bottom of all these insecurities. This Ten of Swords is all like things you tell yourself, right? It's all those things like you can't start this business on your own, or this person would never be attracted to you, or oh my God, you could never, like all those things that you tell yourself couldn't happen. And the Ten of Swords is like, enough is enough. Enough of that. I don't want to hear that voice anymore. I'm not that. I don't even know who that voice is. And you begin to just live your life differently, and you don't listen to them. Now, the protagonizing energy is kind of interesting because there's a King of Swords, a King of Cups, and an Eight of Cups. I think there's going to be points in April where you're going to do a lot of second guessing yourselves. Ten of Swords, there's going to be a lot of voices in your head, okay? It's really important to kind of make a mental note. I don't care if you've never meditated a day in your life. Go on YouTube, type in the word meditate, and just click on it. Trust me. First of all, King of Cups is indicating to me that you are being guided, whether you know it or not. You're being guided. You have emotional strength that you didn't realize that you have. There's emotional intelligence and wisdom here. And I think what's happening is you're being asked to understand the things that you have gone through and to share them with others. And it doesn't matter if it's big or small. It could be sharing your story with a neighbor. It could be sharing your story on a podcast. It could be changing one person's perspective or changing the world's perspective. But see, this is the thing, Leo. Your energy is meant to affect others. And I think by April, Leo starts to shake all of this shit off of them and starts to stand in their own light again. It's kind of like the rebirth has occurred. Like Leo starts to get strong again. And I love this for you because not only are you getting strong, not only are you standing in your own light again, but you're telling others how to stand in theirs. Now, the first 2 months, the Oracle card for January and February, all of this mess over like, do you want to be with this person? Do you not want to be this? What is your deal with relationships? You got adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. So I could promise you that January and February is going to be full of a lot of karmic lessons. But it's going to put you in a good position. It's going to open your mind and help you to gauge the rest of the year a lot better. Now, the Oracle card that comes out for this March and April, which I think is a real turning point for you guys, is the card of service. I feel good when I can help others. Now, because this comes out right underneath the World card and the Seven of Cups, some of you might really be lost as far as career or job-wise. Maybe some of you have lost, due to 2020 or COVID or whatever it is, or life circumstances or eclipses or whatever. You may be recreating yourself career-wise as well. And this does indicate that you would do best by serving others. Now, I'm not sure what that means. It all means something different for everybody. Maybe there's some kind of healing work that you want to get into. Maybe it's just that you're meant to affect other people right now, and that's really important, but pay attention to these connections and these offers. If you are out looking for a job and all of a sudden you keep getting this opportunity to do this thing you've never considered in your life, but because it is, working with other people or doing something for other people, take it. Take it, because I feel like it's going to open up a path for you that you never considered for yourself before. Really important. It's important to exercise compassion, put yourself in other people's shoes, and realize how powerful you are. I mean, if you look at you coming out like this, March and April, right? You're coming out. You are changing people. So be compassionate with how you want to make that change. How do you want to contribute to the world? Do you want to stand on a rooftop and tell everybody that the whole world sucks and they should just kill themselves? Probably not. It's really not a compassionate thing to do for the world. So I think you're just reframing your story and you're telling everybody, okay, well, here we get to recreate something really beautiful because all of this has been dismantled for us. This is kind of like a gift of time, a gift of opportunity, and we have to grab it. And the Magician card means that when it presents itself, you are fully ready. The last 2 months are pretty crazy again. So I like that March and April time for you guys. There's a strengthening. It feels as though as we start to move into May and June, it feels a little bit summery again. And by summery, I mean, all right, so the Knight of Wands is back out. So exploratory, brave, but even argumentative, okay? I'm actually getting a little bit of hot-headedness. You might want to check your anger, check your ego a little bit. In the month of May, you might just be feeling really, because the Knight of Swords is coming out, and then we have the 9. So you might be feeling really defensive, okay? Knight of Wands doesn't like criticism. And if you've put yourself in a place where you're kind of stepping out, letting other people see you for who you are, then you might as well assume, like for me, I make YouTube videos and I should assume if I reach a certain level of success, then other people are going to start commenting and saying things like, you really shouldn't wear red. It's not your color. Or maybe you should cut your hair. Maybe you should do that. Maybe you should do that. And I just feel like May comes along and you are just super irritated with other people's opinions, and this is kind of that energy of like wanting to go it alone, be a little bit more self-serving, maybe a little bit more selfish in May. Remember, it's only 1 month, so like I don't particularly think you're going to ruin anybody's lives here. But I do think also that you're being a little bit more intuitively guided. Important to pay attention to your instincts when this starts to happen. Pay attention to where you are and aren't comfortable. Now, underneath that Knight of Wands and the supporting energy is the 9 of Wands and the Guardian of Swords. Again, more of this criticism, more of pay attention to how other people are making you feel. This seems particularly important in a work or a career environment. If people are telling you that you shouldn't express a certain thing or you shouldn't say this, or I think the Leo qualities are being really called out on in May and June. I think that you are being asked to step up, and it's kind of almost like a testing or a karmic thing for you guys in May and June. The 9 of Wands, there might be some kind of truth. There might be some kind of a moment of truth or honor or a moment when you kind of just have to choose yourself. I don't think you're going to get a lot of time to think about it, which is nice. Guardian of Swords is kind of like that, I'm going to say it as soon as I see it kind of thing. There's not a whole lot of hesitation. There's not a whole lot of strategy. The thing is, with the 9 of Wands, I feel like you're protecting yourself or you're protecting people that you love. I think the Knight of Wands is coming from a really good place. I don't feel like Knight of Wands like wanting to go out and like conquer other people's beds or anything like that. I'm not picking up any kind of player energy on the Knight of Wands. I'm actually picking up somebody that just really wants to speak up and protect the people that they love. Pay attention for that kind of thing in May. The protagonist energy for that actually is the King of Wands, the Empress, and the Emperor. All right, so for those of you open to love, not involved, it might happen in May. I'm picking up definitely a power couple here between the Emperor and the Empress. And you being in the King of Wands, not that necessarily you are the masculine. It's just saying that there might be something that comes up that you need to take action. Okay, so please remember, if there's anything you take from this reading, this feels really important. In fact, it feels actually like something I could grab with my hands. I'm feeling like a tingling in my fingertips, like this is something that you could physically grab, an opportunity that needs to be grabbed by you. I think it's going to be quick. And I think that you might initially feel the need to protect yourself from it. But actually it's an opportunity that you should grasp. And it does mean that something's going to come up, and it's going to probably be an impulsive decision that you have to make, an impulsive call. Like, hell no, I'm going after that. You know, if this is a person, it means you're probably going to have to approach them in some way. You're going to have to get brave enough to send out that email or initiate the conversation in some way. This feels really big. So, you know, it's funny because I'm like, oh, Knight of Wands. But look what the Knight of Wands turns into. Look at what something that kind of initially looks attractive to begin with grows into like something really, really intense here. And your intensity grows for it, your interest. And also, again, indicative with the wand energy that you're kind of being intuitively guided. There's fertility, there's room for growth, and in fact, you will be in a place where you feel like you're in control of this. You're not giving up too much of yourself. This is equal partners, equal give and take, like meeting each other at the same level. So if you're entering into new relationships, is not going to be anything like you meet somebody and they need to be like fixed, or they have to fix you or rescue you in some way. Like, no, like this is like the thing you're waiting for, the perfect thing. Now, careful, because in June you're coming out with this Nine of Wands. Now, if this Knight of Wands is kind of really protecting this new thing, protecting maybe the Nine of Wands is just you not really telling other people about this thing that just started happening. And if that's the case, that's fine. I mean, you start dating somebody in May. If by June you want to make it official on social media, that would be kind of crazy and weird. So I understand if this is you kind of protecting yourself. Maybe June is a time where you take some time away from the public eye. Maybe you go on vacation. Maybe you just take a little break and start investing more in your personal life. Maybe there are things, I don't know, this feels like you're protecting something that's kind of rather emotional and close to your heart. The supporting energy for you is Temperance and the Nine of Swords. Yeah, there's something that you're protecting here, and it's also kind of making you feel vulnerable. Nine of Swords. It feels like you're stumbling on something that you really care about, that you really want to happen. So be careful. The Nine of Swords can be indicative that you're really in your head. All of a sudden, because you love and adore something so much, it becomes only obvious that it's something that's going to be hard to lose. And the antagonist energy under here is that of the Ten of Cups, the Temperance in reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, don't push it. Whatever you do in June, don't push it. Don't push for commitment. Don't push for hey, where is this going? What are we going to turn into? You know, even if this is a job or an opportunity, just know that June is going to kind of make you stay right where you're at. Okay? It's going to kind of make you feel like you got to get right emotionally before things start to... And I almost feel like in June you get to dictate, whether you know it or not, where this thing is going to go. And really it's about having trust in the universe. Really it's about not exercising this. I think this is a dichotomy of itself. Temperance card. Either you can accept the fact that it's going to take time, that things are happening And it's also, God, it feels like a lot of sexual activity or a lot of creative energy. Things are being created below the surface. It's not going to be for public knowledge, meaning, I don't know, it seems kind of saucy and electric. And actually, this Nine of Swords might actually be, it might actually be a lot of just sleepless nights for good reasons, okay? Weird that they would put it to me that way, but that's kind of how I'm seeing that. and and actually, between these two is the card of abundance. I am a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. I'm actually blushing right now. There's a lot of heat here. If you are one of these lucky Leos that is meeting somebody, there's a tremendous amount of sexual passion and desire here. So congratulations, you'll have an abundance of that. Whatever this is, even if this is a creative path or a job, I feel like your ideas are really going to come to light. Like things are starting to really come to life. This feels like an abundant time of year for you, Leo. Now, overall energy for you is the Empress. Super creative for you the first 6 months. It's all about searching for things that you can grow, searching for things that have fertility, meaning we're leaving behind relationships that are dead and not going anywhere. People aren't going to change. We're leaving jobs that aren't going to change. We're going towards the things that promise to grow us and nurture us in the future. Your supportive energy is the 6 of Wands, which means the paths are going to show up for you. It's almost like you're kind of riding the wave or riding the I love it when the image comes in my mind, but I can't think of the dumbest flippin' word. The current, like a current in a river, like if you're whitewater rafting, like it's kind of going in your direction. Things are kind of moving and they're coming towards you, of course, because you're the Empress. So you're attracting positive things to you. Now I have to tell you that underneath this Empress came the 6 of Cups. For some of you, you're going to be super fertile. If you are looking to create or add to your family at this time, then congrats. By the summertime, you might actually really be doing it. You might actually be getting pregnant. Now, if that's not something that you want or desire, just be careful, okay? Just do the responsible stuff. And if you're not going to grow in that way and fertility-wise, it could be your money. It could be your creative projects. Things are really just going to be fertile and they're really going to grow for you this year. You're antagonizing... And this is what I'm talking about. The energy that's not working for you is the Hanged Man and the 5 of Swords. So you can't delay what the universe is bringing you. This is what I'm saying about my fixed signs in 2021. Like the current is going and you can't really pass it up. So if you're trying to keep your feet firmly planted, if you're trying to keep your life the same as it has always been, then it's going to be a huge migraine for you because the universe it's not going to allow it. And your overall card is that of purpose. I know what I am here to do. I think if anything, the first 6 months is going to give you clarity. Anything where you were kind of unclear on where you wanted to go, by the end of June, you're like, oh, hell yeah, we are doing that thing. We're going there. And that's it. There's like, you don't even remember the other options that were there to begin with. So keep that in mind starting out in January and February. If you're kind of like, really, this is it? This is what this year is going to be? Like, it's going to get so much better. So, all right, Leos, that was fun. That was a fun reading. And I kind of want to hang out here for a little bit. I'm jealous. Yeah, lots of good stuff going on. All right, guys, next time I talk to you will be in January of 2021. I look forward to guiding us through this next year. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season and a great and happy new year, and I'll see you soon. Bye.